This is the story of a poor farmer who started a billion-dollar retailer, Walmart, and how it became one of the biggest retailers in terms of sales. Walmart is the largest retail store in the United States today, and it was founded by Sam Walton. It is known for offering low prices for products and making lives easier for people. The store attends to more than 200 million clients weekly through its different locations in about 27 countries. But you will be surprised to know that a company as large as this had quite an interesting and humble beginning. It all began when a poor farmer, after being told he had no career in the retail business, chose to open a store himself. So, how did a poor farmer start a billion-dollar company? How did Walmart begin and become the largest retail store in the United States? Let's find out. But first, remember to subscribe to see more unbelievable success stories like this as soon as they are released. Modest start. The story begins in Oklahoma, the birthplace of Walmart founder Sam Walton. Sam Walton was born on the 28th of March, 1918 in Kingfisher, Oklahoma. His father was a farmer, but the farm wasn't generating enough money to provide for his family. Because of the financial crisis, they traveled around the country looking for a better situation until they finally settled in Columbia, Missouri. When they settled in Missouri, Sam started to help the family by working a variety of odd jobs. But still, things weren't great at home, and because of this financial instability, his parents' relationship worsened every year. To escape from these troubles, he started to keep himself busy in sports and took several leadership roles that kept him away from home. After graduating, he decided to attend the University of Missouri to take his first steps into the business world. After completing his studies, he got himself a job as a sales trainee at JCPenney, which back then was just a small shop in Des Moines, Iowa. His pay was $75 a week, but this job did not go smoothly for Sam, and he was considered one of its worst employees. The only thing that saved Walton was his gift for salesmanship, which earned him an extra $25 a month. Later on, the military stationed Sam in Oklahoma, where he met his future wife, Helen, and they got married on Valentine's Day in 1943. The Ben Franklin Mart. After the war ended, Walton decided to start up his own retail business, for which he took a $20,000 loan out from his father-in-law and bought a Ben Franklin store in Newport, Arkansas. When Sam bought his particular store, it was losing a lot of money. The rent for the store was 5% of the sales. Initially, this sounded fine to Walton, but after signing the lease, he found that it was the highest rate anybody had ever paid for a variety store business. Despite all these barriers, he succeeded beyond everyone's expectations. He studied all the typical rules of retail, then broke the ones he thought didn't make sense, which for him was nearly all of them. When he bought the store, he was required to buy all of his goods from the company, but he knew that he would find cheaper goods elsewhere, so he found a clause in his contract that would allow him to buy goods from somewhere else. Then, he reduced the cost of his goods way below what other shops were selling them for, and more people bought from him. His sales increased by more than 45% in the first full year of his ownership, increased again the following year to $140,000, and increased by another 25% on the third year. Then, he repaid the $20,000 loan to his father-in-law, and 2 years later, Sam had become the leading variety store owner in Arkansas and the neighboring states as well, starting all over. After 3 years of success, one day, he found that he had made a big mistake. Back in 1945, when Sam signed the lease for his store, it contained no revival clause, which was typically a common component of leases. So, after 3 years, he was booted out of his store, but he did not lose hope. And after being kicked out of his store, he started again, but this time, he decided to do it the best way possible. Sam opened his second shop in Bentonville, Arkansas in the summer of 1950, and this time, he insisted on a 99-year lease. At the time, there were 2 other stores in town, but neither of them offered the low prices that Walton did. So, when Walton finally opened his store, it changed the lives of the people in the Bentonville community. During that period, America's economy was looking great, and Sam took advantage of it. One day, he learned about self-service in the retail industry, and then he immediately fell in love with the idea, as it meant he could have fewer employees and further reduce the cost of his goods. His new trick not only worked perfectly, but also tripled his income in less than a year. And with more money, he had the funds and resources to further expand his business. Because of his hard work and business mind, for the next few years, he opened one store after another, and by the end of the 1950s, he was a successful owner of 15 stores, which he had acquired using profits from his stores. The birth of Walmart. After flourishing for years, he decided to adapt a new strategy, and this new strategy would change everything. That new strategy was to build big stores that discounted everything they stocked and to set them in small towns. With this strategy, he would undercut his competitors and make up for the difference in price through a higher volume of sales. This idea was already being implemented across the country, but the distinction was that the discount stores were found in the cities only, and most of them offered discounts for specific items, not their entire stock. He needed a lot of money to make this work, so he initially came upon the company that franchised Ben Franklin stores with this idea, but they refused to back him. When all doors had closed and he had nowhere else to go, he decided to sell his home and open his first Walmart store in 1962 in Rogers, Arkansas. When his store opened, customers were so excited that they didn't have to travel all across the city to get discounted goods. So customers saved time and came to the Walmart store, and the company's sales rose tremendously. In those years, he replaced the wooden shelves in his stores with metal ones, as they were cheaper and more stable. Another strategy he came up with was to keep his stores open for longer hours than his competitors, and it helped him generate more money. He also made big parking lots for his customers, and unlike his competitors, he never collected a dime for parking spaces. In 1969, Sam expanded his stores in more places. But in 1970, he decided to take the company public and sold the company for $5 million. But still, he and his family retain about 61% ownership of the stock. And with the help of that money, Walton paid off all of his loans and moved forward toward his next ambition, taking over the industry. Then, Walton started to expand his business, and by the end of 1980, Walmart had a total of 276 stores. From then on, they were opening about 100 stores every year. He believed that the rapid growth of Walmart didn't just come down to their low cost that attracted customers, but was also due to the work of his close associates. Sam benefited from his associates with cash bonuses and stock options. He also started to buy directly from manufacturers rather than through wholesalers, which allowed him to lower his prices even more. By the end of the 1970s, Walton had built his store into the fastest growing and most influential force in the retail industry. Things were going so great for the company. Then in 1983, Walton made another terrific business move. He launched the first of his Sam's Wholesale Clubs, which were aimed at small business owners and others who wished to buy goods in bulk. By 1990, Walmart had more than 1,000 stores and 150,000 employees. Sam Walton died on the 5th of April, 1992, and at the time of his death, Walmart had annual revenues exceeding $104 billion. Today, Walmart has risen to over 10,500 stores and generates well over $500 billion in revenue per year. This is the motivational story of how a poor farmer started a billion-dollar company. It wasn't easy for him to build such a successful empire, but he did this with hard work and his extraordinary strategies. I hope you enjoyed this video. What's your opinion about this success story? Please let us know in the comment box. For more inspiring videos, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.